Isn't motivation something you want? Discipline is something you need. Obsession is something you have to have. I'm going to show you what I wanted, how I got it, and how I was obsessed to get there. All right, another week on Forget the Noise podcast. Chelsea Pileggi is here today. She is a mastermind on like support staff, VAs, especially in the real estate sector, but I'm not going to isolate to just that because we're going to dive into that today. And we've actually been chit-chatting for a couple weeks now, so I've made these notes a while ago, so you got to bear with me here as I refresh my memory, but I'm going to wing it just like I do with my guest. Fun part is, like, guests always reach out to me and say, hey, do I have like an episode primer? I'm like, no, we're just going to wing it. We're just going to go with it, hope for the best. And we jump on, and it's been a success so far. So welcome, Chelsea. We were saying before that I love having women on the podcast because I find their mindset and approach to problems or the world as a whole is just so different. Like, I'm always blown away when I have a woman guest on. It's just a cool, different, I guess, concept to wrap my head around because I think of things a certain way. I'm very like head down, horns out, go get it kind of guy. And women tend to step back and like assess the whole situation. Hence, you look at people's situations with allowing them to have support behind them and kind of say, okay, hold on, where do you actually need help? Right? She's the owner of Casa of Admin. So I'm going off your Instagram handle. I'm like, where do the lines end, right? The best is always those people that are like the real F and so and so. I'm like, your handle is one of those. Can you say that? I feel like we align because I'm huge on support staff. I think that's what's built my business so far. I literally have a company who consults and like assists in support. Like, we have a business solution company that helps with that kind of stuff. And the contracting world aligns with real estate and administration so much. I find like they're just like two peas in a pod kind of thing, right? So let's dive into it. Just tell us about yourself. Let's just start there, baseline of like who you are as a person.
So I was actually a real estate agent myself. In 2017, I got my license. I like to call myself a rookie realtor because at that time I had no idea, right? Like, I was so lost in the sauce, had no idea what I was doing. Fast forward a couple years, we started our family and I dropped my license. My first little guy had some medical issues that we knew when I was pregnant, and he was born and it was just like too much, and which we'll dive into a bit. Like, the real estate world is just so all encompassing, right? Like, there's so much to it. So I dropped my license when I was on mat leave. I had a local realtor reach out and ask if I would do her admin. I said yes, and then I stayed home with the kids and did admin for about 4 years. Eventually, through referral, I got so busy that I couldn't take any more on. So I was like, what do I do, right? I want to help all these realtors, but there's just me. So then I hired my first contractor, and it has just grown exponentially. And that was only about 6 months ago.
That's crazy. The growth in 6 months.
I found a little golden egg and cracked it open.
Like that. Going through your sheet, the finish line for me is freedom. A life where my team is empowered, our clients are happy, and I get to be fully present with my family without everything depending on me to hold it together. I read that and I was like, okay, let's fucking go. Like, I read that was awesome. I don't even know where to go with that. Like, that like sums up pretty much 90% of business owners I know, but they like simplify it so much where like here you detailed it so perfectly. I'm like, that's like, that's the
I think because I've had so much like exponential growth in 6 months, I have had the highs and lows very quickly. So I've been able to realize like what's important to me, how can I get there, what do I need to avoid in order to make that happen. And I was losing touch. Like, it very quickly was unhappy in the business because I was constantly stressed and I was misaligned, and the clients we were bringing on weren't quite right, and some of the subcontractors I brought on weren't quite right. And I'm like, I can't run a business like this, right? I can't wake up every morning and dread what I have created. I was also working like nights and weekends, and it's like I got out of real estate to avoid that, right? I don't want to work nights and weekends. I want to spend that with my kids and my husband. So in all of, these 6 months or so, I have gotten so much clarity on how I can create this business and this life that I love. We're still working on it, right? But and I'm continuing to grow, and the business is still growing. So there are still some pain points, but overall, I want the girls that I bring onto my team, I want them to be happy and have a fulfilled life too. I want the agents to really feel the relief, and I want me and my family to just like live our dream life. So that's like my whole vision, right? And like piece by piece, I'm getting there day by day. But yeah, I think so many people focus on like the end goal and their end goal, but I want like everyone's end goal to be happy, right?
That's
like,
so cool that you look at the whole team, because like if you literally look at the board when we walk out of the showroom, it literally says culture eats structure for breakfast. Like literally that's what it says on my board.
Love that.
Right?
Yeah.
And I find so many entrepreneurs start out chasing the money, and then the ones that taste a little bit of success and like they get that aha moment, realize it's actually like peace and time.
Yeah.
That's what the reward is. Like the money is kind of like the train that gets you to the destination of peace and time.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like that quote dials that in, and I feel like you're delivering that. Like as the service you're providing, you're actually delivering that to people where they look at it as work's getting done, and I'm making people happy, I'm closing deals, I'm making money, not realizing that like sidebar is they're actually buying back their time.
Yeah.
And how many of your clients do you find don't even realize the time they're saving? They're more looking at how much work's getting done versus the quality.
Yeah, so like a lot of the agents come on and they do want some time back, and to spend more time with their friends and family and stuff. But I also think a lot of it too is that they want to be doing income producing activities is what they call it, right? So like sitting at your desk doing paperwork, it's not income producing, right? They want to be out meeting people or working on things that can bring more sales, or purchases or whatever it may be. So we're able to take all that like redundant stuff away from them so that they can focus on those income producing activities. And I find too, agents get into real estate because they like people, right? They like to talk to people. They like to be out with people. So like naturally, it's not in their personality to want to sit down at a desk and like fill out all this boring paperwork. So we relieve that from them too, so that they can really enjoy what they actually got into it for.
And when you found that gap, did you see the gap right away when you got into it? Or was it one of those like, this might be a thing? Like that's how I got in my business solutions company. That's why I asked, because it was one of those like, I got off the tools quickly. I had systems. They're like, how are you not doing paperwork at 8 o'clock at night? I'm like, because we have an SOP for that. Right?
Yeah.
And they go, well, why aren't you doing that? I'm like, because we have a KPI for that. And it says it wasn't worth doing that. Like we had 5 follow-ups originally, and we realized people only approve on the second or third. I'm like, why are we sending 4 and 5 follow-ups? It's redundant.
Yeah.
Let's take that out kind of thing. So we had someone reach out to us and say, hey, can you help us out? It's a buddy. I'm like, yeah, no problem. Jump on a call. We'll figure something out. And another person reached out. It turned into like, we can get paid for this. And that's when I found the gap. I didn't realize it was an actual gap.
Yeah.
How do you feel like your experience rolling into, I guess, running this business? Like, was it just kind of like, I'm just going to do it, and then you just all of a sudden turn around, it's like, well, I'm going to have like an avalanche here? Or it's kind of like, this is the game plan from day one. I'm going to do it for one person, and I'm going to see if I can fulfill for other people. But then it just got to the point where you had to start hiring on. Yeah,
and I always tell people, like, my whole business has been very, like, serendipitous, very organic. My growth, the startup of it, everything, because I just started doing it myself for one agent, and it went from there. So that's when it kind of clicked in me, and I was like, this needs to be a thing, right? And right now it's not really a thing. You can hire a VA, right? A generic VA, but somebody who's really, really specialized in like the paperwork, the processes, the systems, like the back end brokerage stuff, like that's all very, very, specialized,
specific,
right? Like, so a general VA that can kind of help with emails or, whatever may be, won't necessarily have, and probably wouldn't have, the knowledge to be able to do some of the paperwork and stuff that you have to know. There's little nuances, right, to it. So if you don't know it, you don't know it, right? So, and yes, you can train it, but real estate agents are so busy that they don't want to have to train. And that's where I think we've succeeded, because we can kind of come on and it's a plug and play per se, right? Like we can do the paperwork, that's all standardized. We do have to still learn their business and stuff, but people don't want to have to train and now as a business owner myself, I get that, right? If I were to bring on an admin, it would be very cumbersome for me to for me to have to do that, and I just like don't have the time and the energy. So I've really found this niche of creating this ability for agents to have admins at any scale, right, and to not have to do that initial onboarding.
And I find, like, I'm really close with a lot of real estate agents, especially in my sector. And I actually just saw a job posting. It was one of those, like, young, eager, ready to go get them, you know, a lot of growth room, this and that, needs 26 years experience. I'm like, we're not going to get someone really young, eager, and stuff with 20 years experience.
They're 27 years old and 26 years.
You know what I mean? I'm like, kind of counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you're talking to real estate agents, or let's just step away from real estate for a sec.
Yeah.
Let's talk about in general.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you're looking at it because it's like, well, other people need this. It's kind of one of those like, well, other sectors need this. And I'm not going to speak on your behalf, but I don't know if that's a thought. Maybe like construction is very aligned with real estate.
Yeah.
So that might be an avenue you might be going with, right? Do you find when you get on the phone with clients that need support? Because I find this when I'm doing coaching or consulting, it's like, I find a lot of times I'm stating the obvious. And I don't know if it's because I'm like, I've utilized the service. It's that unteachable lesson where it's like, it's good for you, just do it. And everyone knows I need the help, but they don't want to take that plunge.
Right.
Do you find when you're doing like an onboarding call or consultation call where it's one of those like, hang up and it's like, I literally just told them the obvious.
Yeah.
Like you want to run faster, move your legs faster kind of thing.
Yeah, and I find when I'm on the discovery calls, you know, people ask me questions and I'm like, I feel like this is so obvious, but like it's not to them. It is to me because I do this day in and day out and talk to all kinds of agents and clients and stuff, but what's obvious to us, right, the people who have like created this business is not obvious to everyone else. And we do have, like I've had staging companies reach out because there's alignment there. I've had real estate lawyers reach out. I'm a little bit more hesitant to take on anything outside of that, but I do see how it's parallel, right? Like we're all kind of in the same ecosystem. So we have started looking into expanding a little bit, but I haven't gotten that far yet. But yeah, I just find somebody will ask a question and it's like, oh, I didn't think to tell them this ahead of time because it just felt so obvious. But I'm glad they asked, right? So that they can have the answer that they need.
But sometimes I feel like I want to just stand on top of a mountain and just scream it so everyone hears me. I'm like, I don't want to go through this again.
This one time.
Yeah, one time and I'm done. Or grab someone and just shake them. I'm like, oh my God. Like I'm just, it's right in front of you, right?
Yes,
like I don't know how many podcasts you listen to, but like I'm a big fan of Chris Williamson.
Yeah.
And he has this wicked quote where it's like, imagine yourself as a main lead in a movie. What would the audience be yelling at the screen?
Well, that's a good one.
And I relate to that so many times when I'm in like just a rock and a hard place in life. I'm like, okay, what would everyone be yelling at me to do right now? Because that's probably what I should do. You know what I mean? Like, don't go in the room or don't explore the basement or don't run out the front door. It's like, I put myself in that position and it's like amazing how many like good decisions I made based out of it.
Yeah. That's so true. So interesting. I've never heard that quote, but I love it.
Yeah, it's like it changed so much for me. Let's talk about some pain points.
Sure.
So what's the typical pain point you find for anyone that's overwhelmed? And like, again, I know you do real estate, but I just want impact for anyone listening or anything that's in a position where they're like, okay, I'm at that growth stage. I'm at that next step. I've hit that first goal post. Now I'm overwhelmed. Like, what do you see as a professional in the industry is a typical pain point?
So I think you actually just said it. And the pain point is the fact that people wait until it's too late, right? So like you and I talked about this a little bit before we got on here. And like you had admin help before you really truly needed admin help. And a lot of people, it's an expense, right? And when you're just starting a business, you want to cut your expenses. You don't want to add to them as much as you can. So a lot of people will put off admin help until, there's a point where it's like, should I hire an admin? And then people
Can I just pause you for a second?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to make something very clear.
Yeah.
Hiring administration is not an expense. It makes you money. Please just get that through your head. Anyone listening, just please. It's one of those, like I'm screaming from the top of a mountain. It's not an expense.
Yeah.
So many people say it's an expense. It's like having my laborers out on the field. Everyone, talk to so many business owners and they're like, my guys are out and they worked an extra hour, not to pay them an extra hour. I'm like, but they're billable fucking hours. They're actually making you money.
Exactly.
If you run your business properly, they're making you money.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sorry to cut you off there.
No,
just,
I love it. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
it's
Like
so
when
true.
everyone always says, like, I know I want to cut costs and it's an expense. I'm like,
You've got to
but
like
it's not.
reframe your mind.
I was just sorry, sidebar.
Yeah, go
I was
for it.
literally on a call yesterday, and I have a friend who owns a construction company. He's out in BC, and it's the first job he's done where he's been off the tools. Now it's not support staff in the office, but he's hired enough staff on the field that he doesn't have to get on the field.
Right.
And he was not bored one day, but he's like, you know what, I'm going to follow up with this other contract. I haven't heard from them in a few months, right? And he landed the biggest contract he's ever landed because he got on the call and followed up with them. He never would have done that if he didn't have the support on the field
Exactly.
to relieve himself of that. And that support might be an expense up front, but they're making him money on the field.
Yeah.
And then he landed this huge contract.
Yeah.
And I'm like, good for fucking you.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you need.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, so continue. So the pain points.
But I just think that people, because it feels like an expense to people, they put it off. And then when it's time to bring it on, then it feels like so heavy and so much work to bring an admin on because they've gotten to the point that it's too far. And like a lot of people think, you know, I don't need an admin yet, but it's like if you preemptively do it, right? Like if you're proactive about it, get them in, then you have that extra time to, push your business forward if you want to grow your business, right? Like generate more income and find ways to utilize that admin to better your business. Like if you look at anyone's business, right? There's probably nooks and crannies that could be like fanned out a bit, right? So like bring somebody on who really specializes in that and can take that off because you know how it's like, oh, I know I need to like do X, Y, Z, but then you just never get to it because it's like, it feels like, you know, just like too small of a task or not important enough and you push it off and push it off. Like that's what somebody could do, right? Is get rid of all those little things that like take up this mental load because you keep thinking about it, you just don't do it, right? So yeah, I think a big pain point is like the onboarding probably, but that could be alleviated with having them sooner than later for a lot of businesses.
I had a system from day one. Like I was lucky enough that when I started my business, I made the right decision of investing in mastermind groups. And I learned a lot from them. But like from day one, I built a system on how to like create an estimate, on how to send the estimate, on how to follow up. And it was like a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And me as a sole proprietor, I literally followed it. Like I'd come home and like, oh shoot, I gotta fill out my SOP sheet.
Oh, that's good.
Like that way.
Yeah.
So I brought on a Mint. I'm like, here's a sheet, just keep filling it out.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I find a lot of people when they bring on support, it doesn't work because they don't have, they don't support the support.
Yeah.
Like they don't, you can't just tell them, okay, yeah, just do everything. It's like, well, what am I doing kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So do you find that or how do you navigate that with your clients?
Yeah, so a lot of my clients have systems at their disposal, and one of the most common sentences I'll get in a discovery call is like, yep, I have, you know, this CRM or I have this system, but I don't use it. It always ends with, but I don't use it.
Yeah.
So it's like, potentially some of them are given to them for free, right, through their brokerages or businesses, but other times it's like you're paying for the system and not utilizing it, you know,
so
and it's
painful.
like, if they don't know themselves what's going on in their business and where they're at with things, then how can they really send that to somebody else without it feeling really heavy? If it's all just living in your brain, then that's where errors come in, right? Or like things get missed and stuff. But also, how do you, share the burden if you don't have it somewhere for somebody to reference? So I'm big on systems, but everyone's system, I think, needs to work for them, right? So a system that works for you probably wouldn't for me or for the next person, right? We all like work differently, we all think differently. So I love systems as long as you have a system that's like
Fit
for you and your business.
Yeah, I find that is so crucial for so many people I know because like as a tradesman, we all operate different.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Like I've had guys literally show up and they're like, so I was in a meeting with the client the other day and like, I'm like reading off a 2x4 in pencil. Like, you know what I mean? You have other guys come out with the tablets like, so I made this 3D rendering and I'm like, okay, that's your system, all right? I can't even go there. Like, I think so it is, but I think a system is a baseline of however you want to do it. A spreadsheet, check-in meeting, even something simple like a check-in meeting. You know, I used to do like weekly meetings when I had my, like on my own, and I would have a meeting by myself. I'd call my weekly brain dump.
I love that.
But I would like just, you know, Wednesday morning kind of sit down, okay, I may have a notepad, sit there and just brain dump. And sometimes it rolled into like, now I have like I don't know if you saw my computer, the right screen, it's just a spreadsheet. That's my brain dump ongoing.
Yeah.
So I'm just constantly dumping stuff in there. And now it's mixed like between the two businesses and my personal stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I know as long as I'm plucking away something on the list, I'm moving the needle. If I'm not doing something on the list, I'm not moving the needle.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my system. And then internally in the construction company, we have another system. And then, you know, with Criterion Business Solutions, we have another system.
Right.
So I agree, the system does have to fit each individual avenue or person or business or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I find having that system allows you to just be more organized with your time. Going back to like the freedom and the peace of mind.
Yeah.
And so many people don't have that time. And I'm like, everyone wants it, but no one wants to do what it takes to get it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like there was another, like, everyone wants the results, but no one wants to work to get the result.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And going back to what we talked about before the podcast started, is that like being busy is a badge of honor. And like coincidentally, like I haven't read these notes in like the 2 weeks, right? And literally it's right there. We were just talking about that, right? So why do you think people think busy is a badge of honor?
I think unintentionally people have associated busy with success, and there's no correlation, right? Like if you're really truly, I mean, I guess depends what you define as successful, but if you're really truly successful, you shouldn't and don't have to be busy constantly, right? But people think if they're not busy, they're just like lounging on the couch and doing nothing. And it's like, maybe, but maybe you've gotten to a point of success where you're able to do that. And that's great. That's better, right? Than being busy constantly. But yeah, I think people, it's so easy to be like, so like, AJ, how have you been lately? Oh, I've been so busy. That's always people's like go-to response. But it's like, instead of that, why not say, things have been good with the business, this is what I'm doing, but me and my wife got to do this today. And you know, like, let's focus more on like something outside of just being busy, or what's keeping us busy is what we really want to be doing, right? And it's not just like always business related things, feeling run down and tired, and you know, so I think it's so important to like, there's always time for hustle, right? Especially as entrepreneurs, you definitely have to hustle to get to a certain point. But after that, try and like reframe your mind. Don't constantly be busy, constantly be enjoying your life, or because you were busy beforehand to get to that point. But busy is not necessarily equivalent to successful, I don't think.
And I was just on a coaching call with a client, and I told him, I'm like, busy without success, or busy without stress is successful. And that's the way I look.
Yeah.
It's like,
exactly.
I'm busy.
Yeah.
But I'm busy to be achievable.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not busy to be successful.
Yeah, and I think people fill their days feeling busy with like things that aren't
Mundane
getting
tasks.
them there. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And yeah, that's the way I look at it, is like, I'm busy, but I'm not stressed out. Don't get me wrong, there's days where it's kind of like I walk in the office today, I'm like, okay, I got last minute, like me and T-Dog here had to run over to do a one-on-one client with a friend, or a one-on-one client consultation, but it's for a friend. I'm like, okay, I'll squeeze you in Thursday, right? But then you're like, I'll be there at 10:30. I'm like, okay, that consultation's at 9, that's 10:30, and then now I said yes to accommodate a client for my construction company to meet them at 3:30 in Burlington, and I'm like, okay,
tight. I can do
the timing's tight, like that kind of stuff. Okay, that's stressful, but that's just logistics.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not losing sleep over the business shutting down tomorrow.
Yeah. Exactly.
Kind of thing. So I try to tell people, like, if you're busy but you're not stressed out, that's success.
Yeah.
Because like you're filling your day with stuff that's not stressing you out, but it's moving the needle forward, and it's achievable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you saw my list. There's 35 things on that list. Some of the things on the list is like finish my application for Penguin Publisher for my book. That's been on there for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I get it done, it's moving the needle, but it's not a stressor on the whole kind of topic of it, right?
Yeah.
So like, and I find someone, and I'm sure you see a lot more of it, where people are like, oh, I'm just so slammed, I'm working 7 days a week. I'm like, why? Like, why? Like, I don't get it. Like,
yeah, the interesting thing for me too is like people will inquire and then they'll say, I'm just really slammed for like 4 weeks or 6 weeks. Can we touch base, you know, whenever? And it's like, sure, but if you make the time, right, the half an hour now, we can make you not so slammed for the next 4 or 6 weeks. But I think a lot of people, yeah, it's just they get to a point of overwhelm where like any one little extra thing just like it just can't be done. But yeah, it is interesting because people, I think I really want society as a whole to just not feel like our baseline has to be busy, right? Or a negative busy, I should say, right? Like if we're busy and we're happy, sweet. But if we're busy and we're burnt out, like what are we doing?
And that's what I find is like me being busy is like it needs to come with structure.
Yeah.
Like my day is like so backlogged, like, and like there's so many little things in there, and I keep adding to my schedule. But I do things where it's like in my structure is right now, like my next goal is to build my resume because I want to start speaking at events and stuff.
Fun.
So I'm like, what can I put on my resume that kind of aligns with what I'm doing? I don't have to commit to it full time.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at it to like as a new career path, but I'm like, it would give me more knowledge in where I'm going with my construction company, right? So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go for my real estate license.
Fun.
So but like I had to talk with my wife the other day. I'm like, I don't think it fits in my schedule right now because the past 3 weeks I built in my time blocking where I've actually allocated 2 hours here, 4 hours there, 2 hours here to study. And I'm like, the way my days are going, it just doesn't fit right now.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm like, for 2 weeks it didn't work. So if I start this today, it's just not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm busy, but I'm like, I guess strategic about it where I'm like, I'm not going to like be busy for nonsense. I'm not going to go in there and just study for 2 hours because I know my head's going to be at 3 other places. When I study, I'm actually not going to learn anything.
Yeah.
Not learning anything, right? And again, back to Chris Williamson, he has this quote where it's like, if you want to add something to your plate, you need to take something off.
Right.
And that was an episode during like New Year's resolutions where people were like, I'm going to do all this in the new year. I'm like, well, you only have this many hours or your plate's only this full and your day's already this packed or your plate's already this full. Like, your stomach just won't stretch magically.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You need a second plate. Yeah.
Exactly, right? So it's one of those, like, I really try to stick with that. So, like, when I build structure in my life, when I'm busy, is like I try to, like, test run something. So when I'm hiring a new employee, right now I want to bring another guy in the field. Every week in our bank account, I pay an additional employee. I don't have them yet.
Yeah.
I just throw it into a separate account, a low investment account, and let it sit there every week.
Yeah.
And then when I hire an employee, I'm like, well, I've already been doing that for 6 weeks.
Genius.
So now I could afford to do them.
Yeah.
Like that way, right?
So smart.
But you get all these other people who are like, I got like 50 things to do. I'm like, what do you have to do? Well, I don't know, just a lot of stuff. And I'm like, we don't know what you got to do. How busy are you? Like, really, how busy are you? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, this is an awesome topic. Icks. Like, what are the little icks you have with admin, VA services? I know VA's got some bad publicity. I have a friend. He's actually changed his business to virtual professionals because he only hires professionals specific for that role.
Yeah.
But I know there's been a lot of bad publicity with it. And I've heard stories about it, and I feel like the industry got very flooded quickly.
Yeah, it's like oversaturated.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of my icks.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at us as
Did I
a
say
whole.
that right? Icks?
Yeah, I think.
I don't know. I'm not. I hear my kids say it.
Are we too old for this?
Yeah, I know. I hear my kids say it.
Yeah.
It's such an ick. And I'm like, whatever.
But yeah, like I think, not that I don't associate with VAs, but I don't like that title for us. I think everyone wants like a work from home job now. Like that's like a big thing, right? So the easiest way for people to feel like they could get into that is excuse me, sorry, is to start doing VA because like anyone can send an email, right? And like a lot of people think, well, like virtual admin is, you know, just sending emails or answering calls or whatever it is. So I don't love the VA title for us. I like the virtual professionals. That's a good one. Because we're more than just like an admin sending an email for you, right? We're doing your full back-end systems. We're doing paperwork that's like, there's legalities in that, right? So we're not just generic VAs. So that's definitely one of my icks is like, somebody's like, oh, so you're a virtual assistant. I'm like, not really. Like, I guess, right, to an extent, but we're just, I say like we're a level above that from what we offer. So yeah, that's
like contractors have the fly-by-night guys, right? Like I show up in branded truck to get like templated estimates, you get like automation, communication, stuff like that, and I go in there and I compete, and the guy pulls up in a minivan with paint spilling out the back. I'm like, we're not kind of like, you know, if you
we're different.
Yeah, you know what I mean. If you want to compare, go ahead. But like, it's if you don't have that much common sense of the service you're getting and what you're paying for. So I guess your industry works the same way, right?
So,
you have 100 people listening right now. Let's say, right? Tell them the importance of like the whole support and system and everything like that. Like this is like your floor. It's one of those like, okay, you guys heard what we do. You guys heard what people do wrong, what bad traits are in people, what positions they get them in.
Yeah.
Now you get your little monologue where it's kind of like, yeah, let's go.
I think honestly, it's finding an admin or some sort of support that fits you and your business as a whole. I think a lot of people make the mistake of just finding an admin, whether it's based on like the cheapest price or the most available, but it's so important to find an admin that can really support you. Otherwise, it is just an expense. Like we had talked about before, if it feels like an expense, then it is an expense. But if you find somebody that can almost be like a partnership in your business, that's what changes the trajectory of your business. If they can help you boost your business, skyrocket your business, that's the admin you want, not somebody just sitting behind a desk answering calls and emails. I think that's most important.
So that rolls into the next thing where I thought about this, I stepped back and I was trying to do it with my guests and like, what do they have to do to perform and deliver the services or product that they have to do, right? And the hard part is with you, it's like you got to align your business and your culture to learn to fit someone else's business and culture, right? So like
that's been hard.
It feels easier when you're 100% authentic and aligned with your business, but you can't always be aligned with, like, you can pick the specific clients, but you need to train your staff to, this is how we do things, but this is how you need to work with them. Like that's gotta be a hard line to kind of.
Yeah, and a lot of clients will come on and say, what systems do you use? And I mean, the short answer is whatever systems you use, right? Because as an agency as a whole, I don't like my clients coming in and having to learn a whole new system. That kind of takes away from the idea of us like relieving your stress, right? We're just adding to it if we're making you learn our systems. So we do work it within other people's systems and whatever they have set up. That can be hard because the admin has to have experience in those specific systems. There's also like a personality thing that plays, right? So like if the admin is really like outgoing but sensitive, a really strong-headed real estate agent she would struggle with that, right? Because she'd feel a little bit more sensitive to harsher feedback or approaches to things. So there's such a juggle to finding the perfect fit, right? And I mean, we've had misalignment. It's happened before, and that's something that I have continued to grow with. We've actually flipped to like an application model. So when I first started, I was taking anyone and everything, right? Because like you said, when you're first starting up, it's like you're chasing the money, right? Yeah. You just want to get the business to work. You want it to grow. You want to make a lot of money. In doing that, I found that that's where I found my misalignment. That's when I was stressed. That's when I was like burnt out and tired. And since flipping it now, I really make sure that they fit the business, like the agency. I really make sure that I have an admin that will gel well with them. Because the last thing I want to do is have an agent come on, or any client for that matter, and I pair them up and it's just like, it doesn't work for whatever reason, whether it's personality or systems or whatever. So in being more selective, I'm able to have a more successful business. I'm taking on less clients, but it's becoming more successful because of it, which is a bit of a catch-22.
And that's what a lot of people don't realize is like that 80-20 rule. You know, like 80% of your effort makes 20% of your profit, 20% of your effort makes 80% of your profit.
Yeah.
It's true. Like honestly, like people sit there and like I will coach a client and I'm like, raise your prices 20%. Like, well, you know, like I'll only get one out of every 5 jobs. I'm like, well, that 20% compensates for the other 4 jobs you're not getting. Now you're dealing with 5 less clients, making more money, and if something goes wrong, you can absorb those costs because you're operating on that cost anyway. Right. So if you raise your costs, you have a little more margin to fix whatever you messed up. Kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do I give you my opinion first, or do I let you run with it?
Let's hear yours.
Okay. VA, AI, hired support staff in 5 years. My opinion is, I feel like AI is on this big bandwagon right now. A lot of people are jumping into it, right? I've dove right into it.
I dive into it, yeah.
But I feel like I'm using it the right way. That might be biased. The way I've looked at it is, like my administrator in the office, I told her, this is a tool to make you more efficient. You are no longer an integrator. That's what the AI agent's for. you're a visionary now. I want you making things looking better. I want you, like, instead of having to rush out 10 emails and write them out, I want those 10 emails drafted and you personalize them in a certain way. Our systems, I want to add in personal information about clients that no other contractor takes, like they have a dog and this is a name and stuff like that. Use the AI agent to build it, and you build in, like, it's more of a resource and a tool to make you more efficient. I feel like in 5 years, the whole, like, I can make a picture look different is going to be dead with AI. I honestly think that fun's going to wear off. And I feel like AI is going to be very isolated to people using it properly for what they actually need it. It's going to niche down a lot more. Right now, anyone.
I think it needs to.
Anyone and their mother can use AI. I feel like it's going to niche down where people are going to get bored of it. It's just going to become repetitive, everyday kind of services where it's like, say, you Google search something. Even now, it's like the AI search is coming up first, and then some web pages. So I think web pages are almost a thing of the past. I feel like businesses, instead of having a web page, will have AI agents as a web page where it's people like, hey, I'm interested in this business. Oh, how can we help you? That kind of stuff where it's going to be. I feel like, I guess, the outsourced staffing is going to be, and I say that loosely, is really going to thin out. I think a lot of the fly-by-night, I can do this, I can figure it out, I can run a business is really going to thin out. And I think a lot of businesses that implement stuff like AI and build their businesses properly, have application processes, match people properly. It's not just a mass Temu style kind of production for VA agents, are really going to get weaned out. And that's my projection in 5 years. I think the good businesses are going to utilize AI into their business to provide support staff. So like right now, outsource someone to me. I feel like you'll come in and give me an AI agent with that support staff and say, anything you need done, you're almost getting a 2-for-1 deal here. And you're getting a better service. They're paired with you directly for what you need, rather than just go online, sign up here, and we'll connect you with someone in 30 minutes. It's like, I feel like those are going to be way out the door. I think the businesses building relationships are going to stick around a lot more.
I've had people kind of ask me or bring it up in conversation. They say, like, well, aren't you scared AI is going to take your job? And I have 2 answers to that. One is, like, if it does, it does, right? I don't operate from, like, a mindset of scarcity. So it's like, I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing today because potentially it might take my job, right? So that's that. But also, AI is such a good tool if you can utilize it, if you have time to utilize it. Like, a lot of people want to use AI, but can't use it properly. So it's just like giving these half-assed, can I swear?
You can say anything you want.
Half-assed, like, answers or half-assed products or whatever it is that it's like spitting back to them because they're not prompting it properly. They don't have it set up properly. They don't have it trained properly. So they're not utilizing it well. But also, does it cut down on time? Absolutely. But there's still somebody that has to tell it what to do sometimes, right? There's obviously some automation built in Claude, like I use Claude a lot for automation. But there's still work behind AI. It's not completely hands off. So I think that's an important part. But, like, I have a love-hate with AI. I love AI when it's used properly. And there have been many, many times with my clients where I've said, did you know you could do this, right? You can automate with Claude, or you could create this in ChatGPT, or, like, I'm not from AI. I think it's a great tool when you can have it and utilize it. So I share that with my agents because it's like, I don't want to bill them, 10 hours for something that Claude could do in 5 minutes, right? Of course, that would make the business more money, but that's just not the person I am. So I think it's really important to, like, find a good balance.
Like, I know if someone came to me and said, I'm going to bill you, say, $20 an hour, and it's going to take you 5 hours. Or they're like, I'll give it to you in 10 minutes if you pay me $100. It's like, there you go, here's your $100. Like, honestly, and that's the way I look at it. It's like, time is money, right? The faster I get whatever I'm asking you to do, clearly I'm waiting on it for the next task. So like, that's the way I look at it. So I think a lot of people aren't looking at it like that. But it's good that you're using it as a resource and a tool, because I think that's the key to it. It's like, it doesn't replace, it supports. That's
The
what
other
we
thing
use
too
in
is
our business.
It still makes mistakes, right? And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people forget that. It's like you can prompt it really, really well and it'll come back with something that's really great, whether it's a PDF or whatever. But I actually had something sent to me and I looked through it and I was like, it contradicts itself. So then I had to go back to that person and say, like, it says this and this, right? Because like it was clearly done with Claude. I could tell by the formatting and the template of it, but it made a mistake, and that person just created it and then sent it and didn't really like do the due diligence of going through it. And that's the other piece of it too. It's like, yes, we can use it, but then there's still somebody right now, a human, that needs to go back and make sure that everything is the way it should be. So it might take my job one day. I'm not worried about it. You know, for now I'm just going to use it and run with it.
I think people still need that relationship building and that matchmaking kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then build something based on that kind of thing, right?
Exactly.
If you aren't willing to bet on yourself, don't expect anyone else to. So you invested money before you had it.
Yeah. So I think I saw, it must have been like a reel on Instagram or something, and it was a business coach saying exactly that, basically. And it was like, you need to put money out before money comes in, and you need to say yes to things before you feel ready, because that's how growth is created, right? If you stay within where you're comfortable and within the money you're making now, how do you get to that next level? And that really hit hard with me because I saw early on that this was such a needed service, and I was like, I need to like really grow this. But to grow this, I had to like spend money and, you know, like do a lot of things that
Pay to play.
Yeah, I had to roll with the big leagues, you know? So I had to put a lot out there before I was quote unquote ready for it. And I'm kind of at the next stage of that again. And I'm seeing that again. And I'm feeling this like hesitancy in myself. And it's like, just sign the contract, because I think nobody else is me, right? Nobody knows my mindset or like my ambitions. So I can say like, this is what I want to do. And somebody says, oh, great idea. And then it kind of ends there, but I'm the one who needs to like move my foot forward to be able to like grow to that next level. And I did it at the beginning and I'm doing it again now. And that's how you get, you know, stuff back tenfold, I think.
And my whole business has been built on operate where you want to be at, not where you're at.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing since day one. Like, I didn't need this office at all. I probably still don't even need the office.
Yeah.
Everyone could work remotely. It would be perfectly fine. I used to have a storage unit, all the tools in there, material in there, and I'm like, we could operate like that. And I'm like, no, we're going to operate like a $10 million company because I want to be a $10 million company.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
We're going to operate like a company where the owner doesn't have to be there. So let's build out roles and responsibilities. Well, that means you got to pay people more or whatever it is. Like, rolling that way. And I'm like, I totally believe in that. Like, pay to play.
I think that's why I've grown so quickly too, because I haven't been afraid to take that next level, whether it's with my marketing or my systems or whatever it might be. Like I spent like an abundant amount of money on like a brand shoot, and it's like, how do I justify this? But then people were like, wow, your marketing and your Instagram and stuff is really like incredible. That's how I found you. That's why I decided to sign with you, you know? So it's like, just do it. Just freaking do it.
Just do it. Yeah. Let's talk about your team of 5. I know people in business 10 years and they haven't built a team of 5 in 6 months. So like,
we're looking for number 6.
There's got to be a little bit of learning curve there and a little bit, a few pain points.
Yeah, a couple pain points. Like I said, we've been 6 months and I've already lost 2 subcontractors. And I've learned a lot from it. Not everyone's a match. And I feel like when I first started on, it was like, do I like her? You know, do I think she's good? Like, it was very more informal. It was like a quick phone conversation. I got, you know, I had to know that she was capable of the job, but otherwise it was just like, meh. Now it's like, I need to know what their plans are for the future, right? I had a girl sign on with me. She was great. She had all the skills I needed. She had a great personality. She matched really well. I paired her with a client who was quite a large client. They needed a lot of hours. And she called me about a week in and was like, oh, I got offered a full-time position in a brokerage somewhere. So she left to do that. And I was like, oh. It's like so defeating because it's a lot, right? For me to onboard her and then for her to onboard with these agents. And so I was like, okay, so that was like the first aha. Like, I need to know, are these girls planning to do this long-term? Is this a short-term fix? You know, what's the scenario here? I had another girl that just kind of ghosted me. She worked for a couple days and then I never heard from her. Email, phone call, socials, like I never ever heard from her. And I still haven't to this day. And that was like 3 months ago. Yeah. So very interesting group of people I've brought on, but now I know the signs to look for sure.
I'm a believer in hire fast, fire fast. Like I've literally had a guy where first day he was like an hour late and the office sent him an email saying you're dismissed.
Just don't come.
Like we were joking about it. Like my administrator emailed me and she's like, you literally fired someone before they started. And I'm like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I don't.
If that's how they're starting, then like.
But I just went through that growth stage where it's like, I feel like a year ago we rebuilt the business to the point where like, okay, we've proven we can provide a service. We've proven we have a system. We've proven we can maintain the business. Now we need to structure this business. Yeah. And it's unfortunate, but I feel like I've had to step out as the owner and play the asshole card. I hate being that guy, but like I have to draw a line somewhere. I can't be buddy-buddy with everyone. I can be close with one employee, but that employee needs to delegate my expectations further down. And it's been a hard transition. Like you said, you're like informal phone call. Yeah, you want to start? Okay, yeah, let's try it out. Like now it's like, send me your resume, figure out what you can do, what you can't do. I'll tell you what I believe you're worth. You can tell me until you're blue in the face what you believe you're worth, and I have no like entitlement to tell you anything different. Yeah, yeah. But under our guidelines, this is what we're going to pay you. Kind of thing. And I've had to have some of those hard conversations, but I find it's helped the business a lot more. Yeah. I mean, once you start setting those boundaries or non-negotiables around what your expectations are as your business. It's been a really hard learning curve for me. To my core, I'm very much a people pleaser. Like I just want everyone around me to be happy and feel fulfilled. You know, like it's just in my personality how I am and how I operate. So that's why I didn't love real estate, right? When I was an agent, it's like if I found a really tough agent and I had to do a deal with them, like I curdled. I fell into a shell because I don't do well with big personalities like that. But on the flip side now, as the business owner, like I've got to find that fire in me because otherwise it's all just going to like flop and or create more stress, right? And hold the business back a lot. So I'm lighting my fire. You know, we've got sparks, but it's been a really big learning curve that like I can't make everyone happy all the time, right? If it's not a fit, it's not a fit. And that's been hard to learn. And having those hard conversations is the hardest part. Like I'm usually pretty good at having hard conversations, so I'm like, I can do this, but even me walking into some of them, I'm like, okay, I know I have to have it. I'm good at it. I'm fine. But I'm like, I've never had to do it before. So I'm like, what do I expect as the outcome? Like, exactly. what is it, right? Like, I had a friend who I was with him when he dropped his first client. I don't know if he wants me to say who he is, but he literally came to me and said, AJ, I have this bad client. And I'm like, oh, what's wrong? Well, I'm losing money and trying to be loyal, but they're being a pain with me. And this time, like, just text them and say, stop. Like, I'm at that point now, but like those first few hard conversations or first few like standards you got to set. It's like, okay, this person's never going to talk to me again, or they're never going to work for me again, or no one's going to want to work for me, or like, am I making a bad decision? It's like, it's hard to transition, right? Especially when being a people pleaser works for so long. But only gets you a certain point. I had one client, and during our discovery call, I was like, this isn't right. Like, it's just not going to work. It's not a good fit. But I felt really, really bad for him, and I really wanted to help him in his business. So we brought him on, and we're like 4 months in, and he didn't actually give us any work. So technically he was signed on as client, but like, we didn't do anything for him, and I had to keep like following up and following up and following up. And eventually I sent the email and I just said, hi, I don't think this is right. You know, like I think we need to terminate our working relationship here. And he came back and said, no, please, like, let's continue on. And I was like, okay, sure, because I just wanted to make him happy. Fast forward another 2 months and nothing. So we're just like, I'm learning, right? It's like, just when no is no, it needs to stay as a no. And that was another learning curve for me, is like, I can't go back on my word. When I say something, I need to stick to it because there's a reason I said it in the first place. Yeah, and I'm finding having team members is hard to make the executive call. Because I want everyone to feel like they have importance, their word means something, but at the end of the day, I am the owner. What I say goes. Sounds like a dick thing to do, but I'm doing the best interest of the business. Like no one was there through the all-nighters when I didn't sleep trying to make payroll. No one was there when I first kicked off the business, and if I, like literally my first job, if I messed up a $300 job, I would have missed a mortgage payment.
Yeah.
Like that's how early it was, right?
Yeah.
No one was there for there.
Yeah.
No one was there moving around money between 6 different accounts saying, I hope this person pays me by this day so I can pay my taxes by this day.
Totally.
But we need to buy this for this job. Like no one was there during those phases, and now I'm starting to learn like, no, I'm the one that makes those calls.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I know.
It's hard, right?
So and especially when you go from like A to Z so quickly too, it's like you have to like retrain your mind to be able to be that next person that your business needs you to be.
Yeah, the person you are when you start your business up to say $100,000 is not going to be the one that takes it from 100,000 to $1 million. You know what I mean? And now that we're past that point, I'm like, I'm not the one that's going to take it to a $10 million business. Like I've never run a $10 million business, so I don't know how to run a $10 million business. So either I need to bring someone on, or I need to put myself in rooms around people that know how to run a $10 million business.
I was actually talking to my husband about it because we were saying, like, sort of a vulnerable conversation to have, but I was saying, like, I don't feel aligned with a lot of the people in our sphere anymore. And I think it's because I personally and internally have had so much growth that a lot of our friends aren't there, right? Because they don't have their own businesses, or they're not trying to grow themselves as much as I am. So I'm finding this like disconnect between a lot of our like personal relationships and who I am now. And even as a mom, right? Like I wanted everyone to like get along and be this like really warm person, but now it's like, I have shit to do, you know, so this is what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. And, you know, like, so it's been a really interesting, like, internal change as well. Personal and business, and learning like who I am now as a business owner and an individual, right, in everyday life. So
that's a lonely chapter.
Yeah.
And how long have you been in business now?
6 months. Like it's been.
Okay, so that lonely chapter sucks.
Yeah.
Like I was just talking to T-Dog about it. So it's a rough go the first time around. I feel like I'm going through the lonely chapter like a second time now.
Yeah.
And like the first time is like, I'm a business owner, I'm busy, like I can't just sit around and do nothing. Or you get this like visionary kind of mindset where it's kind of like, my business is doing this, and you're sitting at dinner with friends, it's like, oh, but my business can do this. And like, hey, Adrian, you listening? Like your mind's there, like you're thinking differently, right? Even kind of like, even the way money goes. It's one of those like, you'll have a friend and they're complaining about like money, and it's like, in my head, it's like, well, I'm just gonna get another client. I'll just email everyone all night and try to find another client to make that extra money. Other people have that mindset where it's like, I only make this much every week.
Yeah.
Nothing again, like a lot of people are made for a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
They're wired for that, right? But that's where the lonely chapter starts kicking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm playing the mentor thing here, you don't want to sit on Friday nights and hang out because you love what you do and you love seeing things start working. Where it's like now you have 5 staff, it's like, ooh, like I can make their lives easier and they can get more production done, and we could, you know, find another service with their time that we can charge more. Like, the visionary starts really coming out in you, and then you literally lose all your friends. And like my only advice to everyone is like, invest in being in the right groups, like pay to play, get into the right mastermind groups. I've been in like 7 or 8 of them, and I believe like there's 2 or 3 that really aligned with me. And I think they align with any business owner, especially in the lonely chapter, because they are like so supportive. There's no selling in the group. It's just support, support, support. We have to pay to be in those groups. And people don't want to do that. That's the downside, right? And then being in that group, I got out of that lonely chapter. And now I'm getting to the like, doing the meetup with them and learn, like meeting them in person. It's one of those like, for instance, like I have my business, I don't need to be there all the time, right? You get into this room and you think like, I'm doing well. I'm hitting this ceiling where it's kind of like, this is cool, right? I can be in the room with these people. And then you walk in the room, they're like, I don't know where my office is anymore. I'm like, hold on, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm going to write a book. And they're like, yeah, I published mine like 3 years ago. I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, I wrote it over a week. And I'm like, how'd you do that? Well, I don't really work anymore. I kind of just show up once a week. You realize like, I look at it as ceilings, right? So like, we all have our ceilings, and I always looked at it as like, okay, these are our ceilings. I pushed up to my ceiling, right? I'm gonna cross your ceiling, get to their level. What they've done is like, well, AJ, where your ceiling is where my floor is at. That's my bare minimum. That's what we do every single day. I'm like, shit, like I'm doing my best, and that's like that's your standard,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Kind of thing. So that's
Yeah.
where it gets kind of hard, right?
I feel like I'm in this in-between phase because I've like hit the ceiling of where I was, but I'm at the floor of other people's,
Yes.
where my next ceiling is. So it's almost this like imposter syndrome. Like I don't feel like I should be in these rooms. I don't feel like I am a part of this group, and because of whether it's their success or, who they are, whatever, like the status, anything. But I have to get over that imposter syndrome because I heard this thing and it was a guy saying like, be in the rooms of people who are better than you. Yeah. Because if you consistently stay in rooms with people who aren't meeting you at your level or exceeding that, then how are you expected to exceed it? And I think that's so true. But it's this like, this mental shift of my own. It's like, no, I am meant to be in these rooms now and I need to find my spot in it and then go from there.
Yeah, and I think being in those rooms is just game changing because the conversations you have in those rooms are just so impactful. Mm-hmm. Even just the like, how you doing? It's when I do that with like an everyday friend, they're generally asking like, how you doing? Expect me to say like, oh, I'm so busy. Like we were saying earlier, right?
Yeah.
When I'm in those rooms, they're like, how you doing? Right away, my mindset is like, I just need a little more growth. Like, you know what I mean? And then it changes from like, it's cool how the more successful they are, the bigger rooms you get into, the less it's about business. Like I feel like I'm in a room right now where I get in the room and none of it's about business.
Yeah.
It's all about personal growth.
Yes. Yeah.
Which correlates with your business because like now, like if you're operating at a better capacity, you're making better decisions for your business. But they don't talk about business. They talk about literally like personal growth. Like what are you doing for yourself? What time are you taking? Are you buying back your time? Like it's a weird transition to have that kind of like conversation because I'm like, I thought we were coming here to talk numbers. But like, everyone's like, how many miles you ran today? I'm like, 4 last year.
I walked from the truck to the door. Yeah, it's so true.
Let's talk quickly about your e-course.
Yeah. Okay. So
totally forgot about that. See, typical entrepreneur, squirrel brain. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm doing one of those.
One of actually the girls that came on as a subcontractor, she was my first hire, and she's been incredible. She stayed with me, and so I had kind of considered the concept of an e-course. But it was just like, it was my back burner thing, right? It's like, I'll get to it someday. And she sent me a voice note one day and was like, hey, what do you think about this concept? And I loved it. So when I was in real estate, I took my license, I was licensed, I came out and I was like, now what? Like, I had no idea how to like do a deal, right? You go into the real estate course and you like read all the textbook things and whatever, but it's like when you're put in the real world, you have no friggin' clue what you're doing. And you're dealing with like major assets, right? So, she was like, I think like, I want to do this. Do you want to partner with me on it? And I was like, absolutely. It felt so aligned. I was like, this is the perfect idea. So it's essentially going to be a course that for either new real estate agents or real estate admins or admins who want to get into real estate. And it's going to teach them, like, we're going to walk them through, like, here's a buyer rep agreement and this is how you fill it out. Because when you're like such a little fish in a big pond in the real estate world, you might have a little mentor that you could go to in your brokerage, but otherwise you're swimming, right? You got to figure it out. You're treading water. And I was so scared, so nervous. And I really think if I had a course and somebody by my side to like give me the leeway and just say, this is what you have to do and when you have to do it, I think I would have blown up my business way sooner rather than just sitting in an office and being scared.
Yeah, a lot of people, that learning curve discourages them. I think not only in business, I think everything in life. Like even like musically.
Anything
like people
new.
Don't, anything new. Yeah. You know, if someone wants to learn to play guitar, they do it for a week and they're like, I can never figure this out, right? Because they're not like, you know, Jimi Hendrix over there. I'm like, okay, relax. You know what I mean? Why do you find people doubt themselves then?
I think just like a lack of confidence, maybe. Your brain is also wired to not really love new things, especially if it's something harder rather than like something exciting. So you kind of just think to yourself, you know, like, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it. And you have this all negative self-talk and stuff. But I think it's really important to, when you have the confidence in yourself and you just say like, I can do this, whatever this may be. And you just do it because the only way your brain and your body are going to make the connection that you're capable of doing it is by doing it.
This one gets a lot of people. I love this question. Okay, we've gone through the episode. Everything's said and done. And now we were even talking about how you want to do more podcasts and stuff like that, right? And I love how you're putting yourself out there. I'm huge on personal branding. Maybe we can collab on something later on down the road.
For sure.
But now you're sitting in front of a camera, someone's interviewing you. What's a question you want to be asked?
Ooh. That's a hard one. That's a good one. So if I was on another podcast, what I would want
Anywhere.
people?
You can be
or
on.
just anywhere in the street, even.
This hour has 60 minutes or whatever that show is. Like you can be anywhere you want. Like if you got to sit down and ask one question someone wants to ask you, or you want someone to ask you, like what would it be, right?
Yeah. Okay. I think it would be like a mix of like, why are you doing what you're doing? Sort of like, what's your purpose, I guess, would be my question.
So what's your purpose?
I think to build my dream life while helping others learn to create theirs.
I was hoping you go back to that quote. I love that quote.
It's stuck in me, clearly. I put it on the sheet and
literally,
I keep
it's stuck in
saying
you.
it.
No, honestly, it's been an awesome episode. I loved it. We touched on so much stuff. Like the mindset around certain things, the helping other people, worried about other people being successful. I think there's such a void in like the world and society with that. Like that's where I'm at. Like my podcast is a passion thing. I want people to put themselves out there. I want to have better conversations. I want to learn how they're helping other people. I'm at a, collaborate, not compete kind of phase in life. So even with business, I see another contractor. I was just sitting in here a few weeks ago with another one. He's like, I had my business in Toronto. I'm trying to move into Orangeville. Like, what can we do? What can I do? And I'm like, bro, let's sit down. Like he might be taking a client from me, but I'm like, I don't care. Yeah. Because it'll come back tenfold by me being honest and saying, there's enough for all of us to eat. We don't have to be at the same table, but we can all kind of eat, right? Yeah. So everything we touched on today, what would you name this episode?
Ooh.
This one, honestly, gets everyone. But we were actually talking about naming the first episode, and then me and T-Dog were on the phone one day, and I'm like, I'm just going to ask people what they want to name the episode. Because, again, I want this to relate to you.
Okay, I think I would go with collaboration creates success.
Collaboration creates success. I don't even know if I need a sign off for that one. Like that hit home. That's it. And forget the noise. Chelsea's been on today. She's been a great guest. It's been so much fun. Great conversation. So much insight. Reach out to her. Social plugs. As I've been. That's it. Reach out to her if you need some support. Besides that, we'll have all the details in the comments. And hopefully you tune in for another episode of Forget the Noise. AJ, signing off.